Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Welcome aboard a Captain's Mindset podcast, where we believe that everyone has the potential to become the captain of their own life. I'm your host, Kyle Freiburger, and after spending the majority of my life in the pursuit of becoming an airline captain, I realized that true happiness and satisfaction came from something much deeper than career success. At the age of 34, I took a leap of faith, left my perfect job to become an entrepreneur. This podcast is my way of helping people who feel stuck in life, or even those who have achieved success but still feel unfulfilled. Together, we'll explore how to become the captain of your own life and a better leader for the people around you. I'm not perfect and I don't pretend to be. That's why this podcast is filled not only with my life lessons, but also with insights from other successful leaders in business and in everyday life. My goal is to help you unlock your potential and create a positive impact on the world around you. So buckle up and get ready to take control of your life. If you find value in this podcast, please subscribe and share it with other like-minded individuals. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoy this episode of a Captain's Mindset podcast. All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of a Captain's Mindset podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Freiburger, and today's episode, we're going to be talking through how to create a culture of empowerment and growth. And this goes for everybody. This is for leadership. And as you know, on this podcast, the definition of leadership is inspiring other people to follow you. So if you're a parent, if you're an older sibling, if you're a colleague, if you're a business owner, it doesn't matter. These principles, these 7 principles that we're going to talk about today, will help you foster a growth environment that not only affects you and helps you grow, but it's going to help affect the people in that environment to more positively become empowered and to grow as well. So as leaders, we all know that building a strong and supportive culture around us is crucial for success, not just for ourselves, but for our teams and for our organizations, for our families, for our friends. But how do we create that environment where everybody feels empowered and empowered to contribute, empowered to grow, empowered to stay motivated? So here are the top ways to create that culture of growth. Number 1, lead by example. I did a reel a couple of days ago. It was about the 3 stages of leadership. The first stage is learn to follow people. Learn to be a good follower. Second stage is learn to lead yourself first. And most people skip over these 2 stages and then they skip to stage 3 and they just try to lead other people. But leading other people comes from leading yourself first, because when you lead yourself first, you inspire the people around you to lead themselves better. When you become less stressed, when you become more positive, when you become more optimistic, that is all influencing the people around us. Bad leadership is when you're stressed, when you're frustrated, when you're trying to get people to follow, you're trying to control what everybody else does, but instead you just cause more resentment, you just cause more stress on your shoulders, on yourself. Let go of all of that and lead by example. So the second thing to cultivate a culture of growth is giving feedback. As a leader, it's important that we give feedback to the people around us. And remember, we're all leaders. So giving feedback, it doesn't mean putting people down or telling them all the bad things they're doing. Giving feedback is super critical. Give constructive feedback. Give feedback that is useful, that helps that person grow, that helps that person be aware of a weakness or maybe a strength that they're not even aware of too. That's a good one as well. Like making sure that we recognize people's strengths and help them focus on their strengths while improving their weaknesses. That's what great leaders do. The third way to cultivate that a culture of growth is encourage creativity. Don't cut people off. Even if you know that the idea won't work, let those people talk about those ideas anyways. Let that help you foster that culture where people aren't going to be scared of you shutting them down or you saying no or you saying that's a stupid idea. We have to foster creativity. We have to allow other people to express themselves even if it's not the right answer all the time, because once in a while, or maybe more often than you previously thought, people are going to come up with unique ideas that catch you off guard, and you're not going to see them unless you're open and willing to accept new ideas all the time, not just once in a while. So really encourage members in your family, your friends, again, in your teams, encourage those people to think outside the box, come up with new ideas. Doesn't matter how dumb the idea is, add it to the arsenal, and then you'll be able to make better decisions and grow yourself and the people around you quicker. So and also the last piece of that is make sure that uh, you understand that when people are creative, they're going to make mistakes. And that's okay. Make sure that the risks are mitigated as best you can, but allow people to make their mistakes as needed. Make sure you help them focus on the lessons. Don't focus on the mistakes. Don't bring up the problem again and keep telling everybody all the mistakes they made. Bring up the lessons. Bring up what did they learn. Make sure you foster that growth oriented environment. Okay, step number 4 to cultivate that growth environment is provide resources. As a good leader, it's important to focus on providing resources to the people around us. Because as you provide resources, that is a way to support the people around us and cultivate that culture of empowerment and growth. So make sure you give your children the resources to succeed. Make sure you're giving your teammates the resources to succeed. Make sure you're giving your employees the resources to succeed. Don't just expect them to know what to do or to succeed on their own. If you want people to succeed in building up an organization or the culture around you or each other, then you have to focus more on helping other people by giving them resources. And that can mean training, that can mean education, that can mean coaching, that can be mentoring, that can mean technology. You get the drift. So there's lots of tools out there. Focus on helping people by supporting them with different tools. Uh, Way number 5, or step number 5 to create that culture of growth, you have to celebrate the successes. You have to celebrate the wins every single day. Every day, I start my day off with three things I'm grateful for, and I finish my day off with 3 wins from that day. So the gratitude, those are celebrating things that we have. Those are wins. Those are successes. I could be grateful for still being alive, still taking breaths, still being able to see, still being able to walk, any of those things. They can be as small as they want, they can be as big as they want, but I'm celebrating the fact that I woke up today and I'm still alive. That's a win. That's a celebration. And then at the end of the day, I look at my day and I say, okay, what are the things? How have I progressed? How am I better today? It doesn't matter how bad the day went. I promise you, you can find 3 things that you can call wins each and every day so that you go to bed feeling successful at the end of every day, because how you set yourself up the night before directly relates or directly dictates your morning. So if you go to bed grumpy and feeling negative and feeling stressed, it's just going to compound. So we really want to make sure we celebrate our successes and then help by celebrating everybody else's successes as well. When's the last time you talked to your partner or your colleague and you congratulated them on the smallest of things? Every day we want to be celebrating with our partners, with our colleagues, with our teammates, all the little things. Point those out. And I promise you, the more you start pointing those out in other people's lives, the difference in the culture is going to be crazy. You're going to be completely shocked by how much the culture turns around. And that also builds a sense of community, that builds a sense of teamwork. It absolutely reinforces the importance of teamwork. You'll see that people start working together more. Step number 6, foster collaboration. Collaboration is so important. Don't try to do everything on your own. Individuals try to do things on their own, but you must create opportunities for people to work with you. Think about if you're a parent and you have a kid, right? If you keep trying to do everything for that kid and if you don't try to let them do it, with your help, and then, eventually on their own, like they're never going to be able to do it on their own if you're not collaborating, if you're not working with them, if you're just solving all of their problems, protecting them from all the bad, things in the world, all the challenges in the world. They're never going to be able to learn how to deal with challenges or learn how to deal with problems. And we all need to learn how to deal with problems, because that's the one thing that human beings, rest assured, have in common. So foster collaboration. And that'll promote, the last piece of that is that will promote so much trust. When you can start to collaborate and work with other people, even if you know how to do it really, really, really well, that's the more reason to go collaborate with other people. Gives them a chance to try and do it with your guidance. That's leadership. And then number 7, how to create a culture of growth, an environment of growth. Set clear expectations. This is a must. You have to set expectations for everybody in your life, just not just your team member, but your family, your kids, everybody. And those expectations will be different based upon the group, but you have to outline your goals. You have to define the roles, right? You obviously, if you're a parent, your kid needs to know that you're the parent. You need to define that role with your kid. And some people think, well, that's obvious, right? But not a lot of parents, or some parents, don't do this. Some parents don't. They try to please their kid, or maybe the opposite. Maybe they're always trying to harp on the kid and make sure that they know that they're the powerful parent. But it's not about being in a position of power. It's just about making sure that, the boss, the owner of the company, everybody knows that he's the owner. Everybody knows that he makes the final decisions, right? And that doesn't mean that people can't come up with decisions. Doesn't mean that people can't collaborate or come up with creative ideas. It just means that you have to know who's going to make the final decision. You can't have 100 employees making the final decision. So you got to become the captain of your own life. That you do by setting expectations and boundaries. So those are the 7 keys of cultivating that culture of growth. You got to lead by example. You got to give feedback. You got to encourage creativity, provide resources, celebrate successes, foster collaboration, and set clear expectations. If you do these things, I promise you that you will see your environment change for the better. And it is crazy. It is one of the most fulfilling things that you can do, and anybody can do it. So thanks for listening. And I want to hear some of these success stories. So go over to Instagram and follow me at first.class.leaders on Instagram. Follow me and send me a message. Let me know. Let me know as you try these things how it goes, and ask me any questions. But I want to hear about some of your successes. So that's a way to reach out to me, or you can reach out to me on Facebook, First Class Leaders, LinkedIn, same thing, TikTok, same thing. So reach out to me. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Captain's Mindset Podcast. We hope you found value in our discussion of leadership and personal development. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing and leaving us a review. Your feedback helps us improve the show and reach more listeners. Remember, everyone has the potential to be a leader in their own life. Keep working on developing a captain's mindset and leading with purpose and intention. Join us next time for more insights and tips on how to become the best version of yourself. And until then, keep navigating through the ups and downs of your life with a captain's mindset, and always steer towards becoming the best version of yourself. Become the captain of your own life.